We are deeply into April, so let me share my deeply delusional reading list for this month. Hi, my name is Shalon, and I'm here to help you find your next favorite book. And I am trying to do better about reading the books off my shelves and immersing myself in my physical reads. Let's dive into what I plan to read in the month of April, hopefully. Because who knows, at any moment, as a very moody reader, I change my mind on a dime. So we will see what I actually get a chance to read this month. Let's start with planned rereads. I am not typically someone who rereads books, but after having an opportunity to do so just impromptu in the month of February, I'm really excited to dive into these books again and see what I come away with the second time. First up is Love You to Death by Christina Dotson. I had an opportunity to read this one ahead of its release last year, and I just really enjoyed how chaotic this one was. This is a thriller and it features childhood friends and who are also wedding crashers and steal gifts in order to make some money on the side. And when they crash the absolute worst wedding you could imagine them crashing, as two Black women, you can guess from there they things turn tragic and they actually have to go out on the run and try to evade police. And as they do so, their friendship starts disintegrating. And I just really loved this one and just thinking about dynamics within friendships. And I think this will be a great contrast to some of the books that I read in March. And I actually get an opportunity to chat with Christina Dotson and talk more about her thought process with this book. And I can't wait to see what I learned the second time around. Next up, when I tell you I am preparing for my highest anticipated read for 2026, and I have to do it properly, which means rereading the Hollywood Renaissance series. So rereading Real by Kennedy Ryan and The Close-Up. And please, can we get into this new cover? Just so good. So for context, for Real, it featuring Neva Saint, who is an actress who is trying to fight for her big break, and Cannon Holt, who sees her on Broadway and decides to cast her in the role of a lifetime, her first feature-length film. And their connection grows deeper and it causes complications for potentially how she's perceived in the industry. She also has some health complications that impede production, and just such a beautiful emotional love story where both Neva and Cannon have to deal with things from their past in order for them to be together. This is one of my top romances that I love. Like, if you are a romance person, you should be reading this one. And I will be rereading this with audio. In addition to The Close-Up, this one is a novella. You can see it's much shorter than Real. It is focused on Neva's friend Takira. It is her love story and her second chance at romance with someone that she connected with in high school. It is set in the Italian Riviera. It's a yacht. It's steamy. I cannot wait to reread this one so that way I am fully prepared to read Score. I am so thankful to Read Forever Publishing, who provided me an advance copy of that book. That book will be released May 19th. I have already pre-ordered a copy because I need it to go along with Real and The Close-Up that I already have. I am so excited to dive into Monk and Verity's story. When I read Real, I was desperate to read their story. I really could not wait for that one. And I am so excited that it is almost here. It is sitting in my Kindle now. I could read it now, but I want to reread the rest of the series first to be prepared for it. And I just cannot wait to dive into that one. Next up on my April hopefuls list are two books that have been on my reading list for a little while, and I am determined to try to do my best to read them this month. First up, Kin by Tari Jones. I have heard nothing but great things about this book. I love historical fiction. I love stories about friendship and just growing up and with folks. And I'm so excited to dive into this story. I am so thankful that this story has not been spoiled for me. If you have been anywhere on the internet, you have probably seen this book. You have probably seen Tari Jones talk about this book or other people talking about it. And I know I am going to love it. And I'm just so glad that as much as I am on the internet, I have not been spoiled. So I am trying to prioritize reading this as soon as possible so that way I can read it as intended. I plan to read this earlier because thanks to the folks at KNAF, I was able to get this copy, but I had already been emotionally devastated by another book, and I was just like, I need a chance for my systems to be regulated before I can go ahead and embark into Vernice and Annie's story. I am just so excited to read this one, and I am sure that I will be annotating this furiously. I also have the audio copy to go along with this, and I plan to do it as an immersive read. The next one is me trying to intentionally read really interesting nonfiction, and I am adding When Trees Testify by Beronda L. Montgomery to my list for April. I'm just so interested in learning more about the connection with Black history and Black botanical legacy that is featured in this book. And I don't think I have any other book that's close to being like this in my home library, and I'm so excited to dive into it. This book is described as a stunning cultural and personal reclamation of Black history and Black botanical mastery, and it offers up lessons from the natural world shared through the stories of long-lived trees. And I just find that so interesting. This is broken up based on different trees and how they intersect with Black history. And I also will be reading this one immersively because I know I will be taking lots of notes. Next up are books that are on my own personal curriculum for this year. At the start of the year, I set a goal that was only in my head to chat with authors, and now I'm doing it, which I'm very excited to continue to do. But one thing that I wanted to incorporate was doing genre studies and getting a little bit deeper into my knowledge of genre conventions, like what should be expected, different elements that make, for example, a thriller different from mystery, like being able to dive deeper. And I wanted to find what I am calling hallmarks of genres to dive into and read this year. And first up is Toni Morrison. I really didn't know where was a good place to start in her catalog, so I figured I might as well start at the beginning and reading The Bluest Eye. I was able to read her short story, Recitative, I believe that's how you pronounce it, earlier, and I really enjoyed it. And I think it is time for me to dive into her debut novel. And when I'm reading this one, I'm really thinking through how does she leverage language in order to convey not only the storyline and plot, but emotion, and really trying to think of what are things that are consistent in literary fiction that she brings into her work with her own unique style. So I'm excited to dive into this one and begin my Toni Morrison reading journey. Next up is diving into fantasy. I need a little bit more fantasy in my life, and reading N.K. Jemisin is the best way for me to start. And I will be starting the Inheritance trilogy, so starting with the 100,000 Kingdoms. And I've had an opportunity to read N.K. Jemisin before, and I read her graphic novel, Far Sector, that centers on the first Black female Green Lantern. And as she's trying to keep the peace within alien nations, I just really loved the storyline, the humor. I'm interested to see what shines through as being consistent with her writing style, but it's a completely different topic and something that's completely her own. I figured the best way to start is with her dating novel as well. So I am excited to dive into this one and just dive deeper into fantasy tropes and things that are quintessential to fantasy, things that are hallmarks of N.K. Jemisin's style, and begin my N.K. Jemisin reading journey with what she started with. In addition to those physical reads, which all of them I plan to read immersively, I do have some advanced copies of books that I hope to read in April. Some of these have already been released, so they are available to you. So if you want to read them as well, you can. Some of them will be coming out soon. So the ones that are at the top of my ARC reading list are Black as Diamond, Devil of the Deep, The Bridge Back to You, and Winners and Liars. I am hoping I can get to those this month. Again, I don't know what to say except that I am very moody, and when I get in the mood for something in particular, or when I get out of the mood for something in particular, I switch things up all the time. So we will have to see when I do my April wrap up to see what I actually read. Thank you for watching.